The European Brass Band Association recently made what was a surprise announcement to many people, that the 2022 European Championships would make a return in England and would be managed by Brass Bands England. We interviewed NDiB President Ulf Rosenberg recently, and you can see the interview in full on our YouTube channel and on our Brass Pass TV platform. We caught up with Brass Bands England CEO Kenny Crookston at a recent Brass Foundation's live-streamed event and began by asking him, was he surprised to get the call from NDiB?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have said it was quite frantic, but it was certainly a surprising call. It was about a week before Christmas, actually. It's a nice wee Christmas present for us there. So, having been given the challenge, I suppose we went and had a bit of a chat about it in the team, and yeah, we've decided to take it on. So, it's going to be quite exciting for the next year.
Why do you think, given the fact that previous host countries, and I'm talking about Palanga in this instance, why do you think they weren't offered after putting so much preparation into the Europeans, having a team and a venue and everything else ready to go, and then seemingly overlooked and then subsequently given the 2024 championships?
Yeah, I think we've all got to have a lot of sympathy for Palanga. I mean, if you think about it, originally they were meant to be doing 2019 and it got moved to Montreal for various reasons to do with the venue, and then of course 2020 was cancelled because of COVID. So the Lithuanians have had a real hard time over this. I can understand, having had explained to me by Ulf Rosenberg at NDiB, I can understand NDiB's thinking towards taking it to a well-established brass band country, as they say it in the cradle of the brass band movement, as they call it. But no, I really do feel a lot of sympathy for Palanga, but I'm delighted that they've been given 2024 now, and I'm sure I've never been there. It looks like a fantastic place, and we're all looking forward to going there.
Okay, so as we said earlier, 15 months to organise this event, where other countries get 3 to 4 years. BBE over the last 3 to 4, 5 years has grown massively, and your workload is huge.
Yeah, I think sometimes you just got to be prepared to turn up the volume a bit and apply yourself a bit more. But you've got to remember, we've got a fantastic professional team who take care of the business plan that we have with the Arts Council. We've got a lot of key performance indicators on that need to be met, and we'll continue to do that. Nigel Stevens, who's well known to many as the band manager of Friary Band, he's the project manager for the European Championships. So him and I are working very closely together on that, and Mike Kilroy and Marie Bedford as well. We're all involved in it very closely.
Okay, how are you financing the Europeans, and how much of a risk is it?
Well, I think since the last time the European was in Birmingham, and it was 2007, that was probably the year, thinking back to it, where it all really started to kick off and become a bit exciting. That's when the Own Choice contest started to become that great festival, that great Saturday afternoon, when everybody would kind of get excited about listening to brand new pieces getting played. And European Championships in Britain actually traditionally have been quite a difficult sell, but really over the last 15 years, or 13, 14 years or so, it's been almost an instant sellout. I mean, as soon as the tickets have gone on sale, they've been sold out.
And when are the tickets going on sale?
We're hoping to get them on sale a bit earlier than usual.
Sure. What's the capacity, Symphony Hall?
It's 2,000. It's a lovely big hall, as anybody who's been to the British Open will tell you. It's a fantastic place for a band contest. We were in Symphony Hall about a month ago. The foyer area is completely unrecognisable from what it was before, and it's now got some fantastic performance spaces in it. Social areas like you just couldn't imagine compared with what it was before. So we're really hopeful that this is going to be the most exciting European Championships ever.
I mean, everybody knows Symphony Hall. It's one of the best concert halls in Europe, and great to hear about the work and the immediate vicinity. However, once you step outside there, Birmingham's a disaster zone. How are you going to cope with a city which is under renewal. How do you attract visitors and make Birmingham appealing?
Well, I mean, there's certain things that are just completely out of our control, and you've mentioned a lot of them there. I mean, we'll be making special arrangements for bands leaving the park in their coaches and things like that. The hotels in the vicinity there's plenty of great hotels nearby, so they're all within walking distance. So we don't see these as particular challenges. You know, a lot of the timetable has been dictated by the availability of the hall, because there's an event on there on the Friday evening. So we're doing the Friday evening event in Birmingham Town Hall. I think any event should always be turning up the volume towards the very end.
Correct.
So the last thing you're going to get at our event is the announcement of the results.
Yes.
There'll be a fanfare and a national anthem or something to go with it. Then a big party in the foyer. We've got something absolutely sensational lined up for that as well. But start off with the youth competition. The two youth competitions on the Saturday, then we're into the championship test piece, and then on the Sunday morning we'll do the challenge section, championship own choice on the Sunday afternoon, gala concert on the Sunday evening.
Well, the other controversial thing about your timetable, of course, is you've not included a European youth band. Is the European youth band now a thing of the past, and is it relevant?
That's a good question. My own personal view could be run along different lines, and I'm sure there's a wide discussion going to take place within NDiB and the delegates in Europe to look at the future of the band, and how it's brought together on an annual basis, purely for 1 week, then it disbands, and then a new one starts the following year.
Yeah.
So there's a question of legacy there, and standing on the shoulders of giants and all that. So but there are issues with that. But I'm sure there's a different way to do it that would perhaps a wee bit less democratic, let's say, might be one way to do it. But ensuring that you're getting the best young players in Europe in there, and creating opportunities for what would really be a fantastic band. This year, there were, for 2022, there's real challenges that we just thought we were unable to take on in terms of the risk that putting on the European youth band would have posed to us. There's quite a financial burden there, and to be able to do that and get through the weekend without losing a lot of money would have been irresponsible. You've got to remember, Brass Bands England is we are our members, so we're looking after our members' interests. We'll hope we'll make a pound on the weekend rather than losing one, but I can guarantee if the European Youth Band had been on, we would have lost a lot of money on the weekend, and that was just a risk we were just not prepared to take with our members' best interests at heart. So we had some discussions with the European Brass Band Association about this, very detailed discussions over a long period. And agreed that if it is going to be on, and I believe there is still a chance that it will take place, but it will be organised by NDiB, and we'll just have to find a way of fitting it into the timetable somehow.
BBE aren't actively going to organise any youth band, aren't actively going to finance any youth band, no. And if it happens at all, that's going to come from NDiB finances?
Well, that's a matter for NDiB, isn't it?
Because they don't have any.
Well, I'm sure they've got some, but I believe that there's discussions about a COVID relief fund that they're working with.
Right. Okay.
So if there's special money coming in for that and they want to use it for that, then that's absolutely fine with us, But for the point of view of BBE, though, it was just a risk, especially at the current time when there's so much uncertainty about travel.
Sure.
And
but
the different paces it change in different countries as well. It just makes it just too hard for us to take.
I understand this, but does this set a precedent for future host venues who are going to turn around and say, well, we don't want the European Youth Band either. We don't want that burden. You allowed the UK to get away with it, so we're now putting it on the table as a stipulation, NDiB.
You have to remember, though, that we're doing it over 15 months.
Well, I know.
Everybody else has got a bit more time than that.
Well, but that's NDiB's decision, though, isn't it? That is NDiB's decision to hand you the championships with that lifeline, or with that timeline, I should say. And if that precedent has been set that the host nation does not have to fund a European youth band, is that precedent then going to be thrown back at NDiB in the future by host cities saying, we don't want that burden either? Go ahead, NDiB, you organise that.
I think what NDiB will rightly say about this is that for quite a lot of countries in Europe, the European Youth Band can actually in itself be a source of funding. It was never going to be so easy for us in that particular manner, but it can be a useful source of funding for other countries. So I'm not so sure that you'll actually get much resistance from a lot of countries in that one whatsoever. And no, I think EBA have thought this one through fairly well, I think. And if they want to take on the responsibility of putting the band on that weekend, we'll work as hard as we can with them to accommodate at various points in the weekend, and it can be a very useful addition to the weekend.
Kenny, thanks for your time today. Thanks for joining us here on New Dimensions in Brass. It's been, as always, pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks, Martin.